success at Spa, where he got a second and third place. Just for those people who like to know, Gabriele Tarquini would have been carrying and was carrying in the first race 30 kilograms of ballast. Jörg Muller's got 20 on board. Andy Prio's also got 20 on board because he had a win at Spa. Nicola Larini only 10, so he's carrying 20 kilograms less than his main rivals in the BMW camp. Here we go, reverse grid. Prio, then Rydell, then Larini, and then the two Mullers. Eduardo de Freitas, the man from the FIA, standing at the head of the grid, just waiting for everything to settle down. 1 minute to go. Rydell, we want to get a jump. Prio is a good starter, although he bogged down badly at Spa in the first race, which is why he didn't get any points. He ended up with 3 points. Formation lap then. Eduardo de Freitas. Funnily enough, we were watching the MotoGP, or I hope you're watching MotoGP from Estoril. Eduardo de Freitas is the resident clerk of the course from Estoril. But he's also the resident clerk here for the European Touring Car Championship and the FIA GTs, travels around all over the place. While the warm-up lap's on, let me bring you up to date very quickly with what happened in the Formula Renault V6s. If you were watching yesterday, there was a almighty confusion on the grid when the lights went red and it failed to go into multiple light mode and then turn off or go green. They just went to one red light bar and then went off. Some people, like Lopez and Gomendi, decided not to go, thinking it was an aborted start. Others, like Matsura and Yanni, decided that they were going to go, and Murchison. And then there was a big pile-up in which Yanni and Gomendi were taken out. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Jamie Malo and Gomendi were taken out. Well, they restarted that race later in the afternoon. And the race 2 was this morning. Tristan Gomendi winning that race, Jose Maria Lopez coming second, and Neil Yanni coming third. Here's your grid for today's round 14 of the European Touring Car Championship. You see the first 7 cars reversed, 8 cars reversed due to their placings. Then Roberti, Giovanardi in 10th, Tom Coronel in 11th, Andre Couto, the first of the Hondas, Balzan and Ekstrom in the second of the Type Rs, Diefenbach in the first of the Toledo Cupras, Sturesen and Anderson, 2 of the Swedish hopefuls, locals, Francia in one of the privateer Alphas. Back to 20th is Sardelli. So the Alfa Romeo showing it has superior straight line speed here, and amazingly its cornering ability is just as good as the BMW on this circuit. For those of you who've not seen this circuit before, Anderstorp, it starts on a short straight, then there's a 180-degree right-hander down to the very long and very wide back straight. Has a slight curve at the end to the right and is very slightly banked. Sharp second gear, 90-degree right-hander, short squirt down to another 90-degree right-hander, and then a reasonably long straight rounds to another 180-degree right-hander, turning back on yourself onto another 180-degree left-hander, into carousel, almost a 360 corner, and back onto the start-finish straight. Round 14 then, Andy Prio in pole position due to the fact he was 8th in the first. Rickard Rydell alongside him, and Rydell will be wanting to get the jump. The green flag is out, everybody is ready. Pace cars take up their positions. Watch out for those lights. Oh! I see no lights at all, but they've all gone. Well, they all started cleanly. I don't know what will happen there. Andy Prio gets an absolute flyer, and Rickard Rydell managed to keep Duncan Huisman and Muller at bay. Nicola Larini challenging already, but Andy Prio streaking away. We're on board with Nicola Larini. He is behind Muller of the Dirk variety, I think. Oh, right through the middle. Unbelievable driving by Nicola Larini. He went straight through the middle of 2 BMWs. Muller on one side, Huisman on another. That is incredible driving. Saw the gap and right through the middle. Well, What an amazing piece of driving. Nicola Larini already up on lap 1 into 3rd place and chasing down Rickard Rydell. Muller, I think, didn't quite know what happened to him. Jörg Muller passed by Nicola Larini in lap 1, not just by a simple outside or inside move, but up the middle. This is Colciago, winner in race 1, making a move. These cars really are super quick here, these Alphas. BMW's battling amongst themselves, and while they do so, oh, wheel-to-wheel stuff. Fabrizio Giovanardi pushing against Duncan Huisman. Oh, bang, bore, bump, grind. Duncan Huisman is not the sort of guy you want to tangle with if you're going to get into a head-to-head battle. Oh, they've tapped Colciago. The two of them fighting a push Colciago off in towards the barriers. Huge clouds of dust and rubbish coming up. Oh, and Colciago will be absolutely furious. Giovanardi and Duncan Huisman in their own little battle as we watch Nicola Larini going past local boy Rickard Rydell. The speed of the Alfa just too much. Duncan Huisman has maintained his place ahead of Giovanardi. And Garcia in the number 2 car. That is Dirk Muller carrying his maximum 40 kilograms of ballast, and you can see there that Nicola Larini has indeed got past Rickard Rydell. This is the battle we were watching. Huisman, Giovanardi, Garcia. And then I think it's Roberti. Here we go. Look, the two of them are battling together, and that's I have to say that's Giovanardi not wanting to let any ground go towards Duncan Huisman. And as they came to the bend, Colciago is forced to go around the corner, and 3 abreast just doesn't go. Off into the gravel trap, and I would guess he's pretty much beached there. That's the end of his race. The onboard with Jörg Muller, chasing down Rickard Rydell. Nicola Larini ahead of him. Well, Rydell seems to be going pretty well. He's just left foot braking. You watch them as they go through these long sweeping bends in the front wheel drive car that is the Volvo S60. Just using the left foot to dab the brake and just steady the car. It has the effect of steadying the car as you go through a corner, just taking off just enough speed without making it completely undrivable. Roberto Colciago, ooh, look at that. I don't fancy being a marshal and telling him to step this way, sir. Prio leads, Larini second, Rydell, Jörg Muller, Dirk Muller, Duncan Huisman, Giovanardi and Garcia. That is your top 8, and 7 seconds separate 1 to 8 at the moment. Andy Prio steaming off ahead. How long will it be before Larini, who's been super quick, and you can see he's making ground, catches Andy Prio, and then we'll have a ding-dong battle. Andre Couto moved up to 11th, that's good. Big gap back to Duncan Huisman here from the first 4 cars. Huisman, Giovanardi, Garcia, all battling away there, and then Dirk Muller. Back on board with Jörg Muller. You can see how much they have to control the BMWs with throttle. Being rear-wheel drive cars, just keeping all the power going and using the throttle to control it. Andy Prio visibly being caught by a super fast Nicola Larini, and Rickard Rydell is staying with him. Well, good on you, Rickard. Battled so hard in round 13 the previous race. Well, I think Giovanardi has finally got past Duncan Huisman. He has. Garcia will now be having a go at Duncan Huisman, but you can bet your bottom dollar. You just watch it. Huisman is going to have another go back. He will not let Giovanardi go. Giovanardi, a multiple touring car champion, has more touring car titles to his name than anybody else in this field. There's no doubt about that, and is switched to BMW from being an alpha man. Not quite as successfully as perhaps he hoped, but he is wearing the number 1 plate as reigning European touring car champion. Duncan Huisman looking around the outside. He's going to try and get the line to the next corner. Here we go. Wait for the braking. Oh, so late. And he's got to try and go around the outside, and he, can't do it at all. Well, that's not good driving, really, by Huisman. He was trying to brake very, very late and drive around the outside. That's almost impossible on some of these bends. You get, they're so wide, you can get 2 or 3 of these fast cars together. And if you start getting pushed towards the edge of the track, there's no way you're coming back from that. Duncan Huisman going backwards at a rapid rate of knots. He is a battler, an absolute battler. Here we go again. Look, the bend is going to go around to his right. He's having a go at Giovanardi. He's got to try and brake later. But right behind him, Garcia knows that Huisman is on the wrong line. Finally has to brake, and all his momentum's lost. Well, that's the car number 16, I think. And that's Roberti who's gone off into the gravel. And how much do you want to bet that that was involved in some sort of scrap with Duncan Huisman? Well, Giovanardi and Garcia now setting off after the lead trio. Or the lead quartet, should I say. Up ahead, through the window of Jörg Müller, you can see this battle here. Andy Priaulx, Britain's Andy Priaulx in the BMW 320i, now being hunted down by Nicola Larini. Larini absolutely determined to win a race. Only less than half a second separates the two, and I think it's even less than that. Nicola Larini, the only man in the title hunt for this year's ETCC title. Oh, there goes Roberti. Now, who is behind him? Well, it wasn't Huisman, whoever that was, but I think he's outbraked himself. Out safe and sound anyway, just to spin off into the gravel. Or a shoot off into the gravel, should I say. Andy Priaulx coming under some real pressure from Nicola Larini. As I was saying, he's the only... Somebody else has gone off. Who is that? Oh, that's one of the... That's the other of the Volvo S60s. That's Sandro Sarelli. Well, I think there must have been an awful lot of dirt and rubbish kicked up on the track from the previous round when Larini and Tarquini went off. Doesn't take much to drag up dust, and that makes it very slippery, especially under braking. If you happen to lock a wheel on that sort of stuff, you're well off. Andy Priaulx sustaining his lead very well. This is lots and lots of pressure from Nicola Larini, who hasn't yet won a round this year. He is 4th in the championship. Still, despite having not won a round, that's consistency for you. Nicola Larini, ex-Formula One driver, ex-Ferrari tester. A formidable man at home with Italian machinery. Andy Priaulx, a newcomer to this year's championship, a newcomer to BMW in Europe. The Union flag emblazoned all over that car, and he's doing remarkably well. And he may be a newcomer, but none of the other guys who've been here before are taking him any less seriously for it. Behind those two, you can see Rickard Rydell coming under pressure from Jörg Müller now, but I think Rickard's doing a fantastic job. He's dialed the car in a little bit better. Whoa, Dirk Müller off. Dirk Müller takes to the dirt, luckily not in the same way as everybody else, I think. Lock up from Rickard Rydell. Rydell explaining on the grid, of course, that his car, engineered by ART, is not really a works-back car at all. Of course, they get all the help that they can from the factory. But there's a big, big difference between having factory money behind you and having to find the money to develop parts and buy parts. Nicola Larini, is this the move he's going to make? He's having a good look around the outside. Priaulx has got to defend his line very, very well. It's quite difficult at this circuit. If Larini can get the straight line speed, he will go past him. It's a very wide track, this. Great for overtaking. Priaulx making his run from right side of track to left side of track and covering the line. Perfectly legitimate, of course, as long as he doesn't weave around and he's moving from race line to race line. He can do that as long as he likes. Larini having a good look. Has he got the straight line speed? Priaulx's car is fast. Larini's is faster. Is he going to try and outbrake him? No, not this time. Andy lives to fight another round. I have to say that BMW looks slightly more planted through corners than perhaps Larini's Alpha, which seems to be lifting a little wheel due to that's the way its drive works, of course. At the front of the car, Prio, Larini, Rydell and Muller, your top four. Giovanardi up to 5, but a long way back. So these are the two big battles. Ricard Rydell continues to lock up. Great traction out of the corners from that Volvo, and keeping Jörg Muller at bay. On board, Nicola Larini, Alpha 156 GTA. There's your 1-2, Andy Prio. Little puff of smoke. Well, let's just hope that Larini has the good sense to go around him cleanly. He's just going to wait for the last lap, wait for a move, I think. Larini knows he's got the speed down the straights. He knows the car's handling well, the tyres are good. Maybe he's going to wait for the BMW tyres to go off. Prio has not had such a good time on tyres this weekend. He had a very, very good free practice, 1 and 2. In qualifying, he just went from 6th fastest to 10th fastest on new tyres, and he just couldn't quite work out, or he and his team couldn't quite work out what on earth was going on. He's having another look. This is a good passing place. We just saw Huysman, of course, trying to do this and couldn't do it, and Larini, just the straight line speed of the Alpha, right past Andy Prio. Well, if Prio's got the speed and the grip left in his tyres, he's going to have to try and hang on to the back of this car. It is extremely fast. And there's no, look at that, just inching away, 90-degree right-hander coming up. Here we go. Larini is on a flyer. Andy Prio passed on this lap quite easily by the straight line speed of the Alpha. And BMW will be scratching their heads going, what are we going to do about this? These cars haven't been quite so good through the corners this season. Dirk Muller in the pits. Oh, look. Bodywork stripped bare. Those, of course, are added on wings. Nice wide arches, but that's completely stripped away. We didn't see what happened, but he did go off earlier. Now, I guess that he was nerfed at some point. That is the front right, should I say, and we saw a left-hand side shot, as I remember, of Dirk Muller as he went off into the gravel. So we wouldn't have seen any damage. Now, I wonder who hit him. Andy Prio is trying his best, but Nicola Larini is getting away. Not only is Nicola Larini getting away, but Ricard Rydell and Jörg Muller, I think, are inching closer to the Englishman. I guess the French could sort of claim Andy Prio as well, if we want to go back far enough in history. From the Channel Islands, Prio, nice name of French descent, I would think. And he started off in hill climbing in the UK. In Guernsey, I think he started. Proved himself a national champion in that. Oh, Rydell continues to lock up. Gosh, he's really driving the absolute socks off that thing. Did very well in hill climbing, did Andy Prio, and then moved to the Renault Spiders, I seem to remember. And then did a season of single-seater racing, and has gone into touring cars, really making his mark. Well, the top four pretty much static now. Nicola Larini's got past into first place and continues to pull away from Andy Prio. In second, Ricard Rydell just dabbing those brakes. You can see the lights coming on as they enter that one. There we are, that's a full braking. Obviously, as they go into a 90-degree corner, but when you see that large carousel, which is, you will have seen on your maps, also called Continental here. It's almost a 360 corner, and they just dab the brakes on the front drive cars just to steady it without really slowing it down. And he's turning a real battle. Garcia's got past Giovanardi for 5th place. And that is the Italian stroke Spanish backed team. There's your top 8. Balzan up into 8th place in the Alfa Romeo Privateer Alpha. Huysman still in 7th. Seems to have dropped off the back of this battle after really putting some stick on them. And in fact, causing all sorts of problems. One in which Colciago, race winner in round 13, was sent off into the gravel. Here we are, let's watch Nicola Larini on board. Gets right tucked up behind, just uses the straight line speed of the Alpha, pulls out nice and clean. Good passing manoeuvre by Nicola Larini, nothing that Andy Priaulx could do about that. And the car really sorted out in the corners as well, managed to make it stick. And I do believe that Rydell and Jörg Muller are catching Andy Priaulx. Well, that would be a fabulous achievement for Rickard Rydell if he could move up into 2nd place on the podium. He is not going to win the race, I shouldn't think, unless something happens to Nicola Larini, and we really should. You know what it's like? It's the commentator's curse. I really shouldn't say anything at all. As soon as I open my big fat mouth, something will happen. We've already lost Gabriele Tarquini in round 13, the previous race. In this race, we've lost the winner of the previous race, Colciago. He's gone off into the gravel. We also lost Roberti. He went off into the gravel. And Sardelli, another gravel victim. All of them vying for space that really isn't there, I think, probably. Very deceiving. Because it's such a wide track here, you can see how wide it is. If at some point they all bunch up and get too close together, they all try and make the same gap, and you get 4 or 5 wide, and that's just going to go. This is the battle for 9th. You can see Engstrom in the Honda Civic Type R, just 0.2 of a second ahead of Tom Coronel. He's a determined customer. And he's been nerfing somebody by the look of it. The front of his radiator grille bashed in. The 2 Seats, 9 and 10. Diefenbacher and Jordi Genet from the back row of the grid has come up and is challenging Diefenbacher in the Seat Toledo in front of him. That's great driving by Jordi Genet. Jordi Genet, brother of Marc Genet, former F1 driver, of course. Civic Type R's maybe doing pretty well in the British Touring Car Championship, but they're slightly off the pace here. Very, very quick in a straight line, but just look, here we go through the corner. Long, long, long carousel. And better on the brakes as well, the BMW, and it just closes up again. Get to a straight, and Engstrom will pull away again. Nicola Larini, your race leader. And Andy Priaulx seems to be maintaining his gap over Rickard Rydell. Slightly edging out a bit, I think, again. Rydell really, really trying hard. So the top 4 pretty much sorted at the moment. The real battle on the track is in for 9th place with Engstrom in the Civic Type R we were just watching. Oh dear, oh dear. Somebody else into the gravel. No, you're not going to get out of there, mate. You could try. That is Sterrison. Oh dear. Local boy hits gravel. I can see the headlines tomorrow. He'll be kicking himself. Now just watch what these cars do when they go through a bend. If you can see the tyres, see the riding on the tyres, when they go through a flat bend like this is not too bad. Now watch the inside tyre as we get to a bend. You'll just see the writing slow down. Look, he's lifting that wheel. Whoa, back goes the traction again. Really good on the brakes this weekend, the Alphas. And very, very fast, nicely set up. There we go. Just as I was talking about it, what a great shot, look. Lift the wheel. And down we go again. All the tyres, control tyres, all Michelins. There's your order. Larini down to Balzan in 8th, Huysman still in 7th, Giovanardi 6th, Garcia 5th. Muller, Rydell, Prio and Larini, the man you are watching. Teams only allowed to bring 16 tyres per race meeting. 16 wet, 16 dry. That's essentially 4 sets of tyres. So well, it is 4 sets of tyres. No, essentially about it. 4 sets of tyres, you do what you want with them. And Prio was out very early in the race meeting on good used tyres. So he used 1 set for 2 free practice sessions. Leaves some free then to make a choice for race meetings, for the race itself. Although you do have to mark up after free practice which tyres you're going to use. There's no swapping and chopping and changing in the middle of it. You've got to have those marked, and they've got to be passed by the scrutineers as being the sets of tyres you are going to use. Well, Nicola Larini, good shot of him in car there, you see. Well, Nicola Larini, marvellous race, takes the checkered flag. Well ahead of Andy Prio. A great win for Nicola Larini, first of the season. He was already 4th in the championship. And now he has a victory to his name. Larini first, Prio second, Ricard Rydell, Jorg Muller nearly 5 seconds back. Then Garcia and Giovanardi of the same team. Duncan Huysman first of the privateers in the privateer trophy, and Balzan bringing up the top 8. 20 seconds back on Nicola Larini now, isn't that a gap? Nicola Larini then taking the first victory of the season for him here at Anderstorp in Sweden.
Whoa. Digitally yours.
Superb win for Nicola Larini ahead of this man Andy Prio, and Andy Prio 1.1 seconds back. Ricard Rydell, local boy, taking 3rd place, 1.8 seconds back. Jorg Muller taking 4th. Further on down, another local boy, 9th, Thomas Engström, just ahead of Tom Coronel. Francia Diefenbacher in the first of the Seats, just holding off Jordi Genet. Well, here are the point standings now after round 14. Nicola Larini moves from 4th to 2nd. Let's catch up with the winner down in the pits.
Nicolas